Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another series, not another series, but another evening's class in our transformation. My name is Popson Francis, and I am your self-development educator. Welcome to Eurique LLC, and you're in tune. You are now a part, if you've been joining us for a while, and if it's your first time, welcome to the self-awareness series. We're looking from confusion to confidence, how to move into authentic self awareness. I'm going to ask you to take the opportunity to invite someone right now, share the live, and invite your friends and your family to come on board. I'm happy to have you, and we're going to begin momentarily. All right, all is well. And all right, perfect. So we are going to get started. Thank you for joining. I appreciate it. So this is module 4, lesson 1. Can you believe it? We are now engaged in module 4. We've started module 4, and this is the final module of the self-awareness series. Please remember to stay connected. You can follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn at Thrive at Eurique1. You can also visit our website at www.thriveateurique.com, where we offer services such as one-on-one coaching, online courses, workshops, worksheets such as the self-growth worksheet. And to purchase the self-growth worksheet, there is a QR code to the top of your screen. Feel free to access that. And I'm also going to put the link in the chat so that you can access and purchase your self-growth worksheet. So even after the self-awareness transformation journey, in terms of us meeting and talking about it, has ended, you can still continue your self-awareness journey, and the worksheet will help to guide you. Again, if you're joining, please feel free to let me know where you're joining from. Just put a hi in the chat so I know that you're here. So we have officially completed module 3, and we have begun module 4, the final module in the self-awareness series. And module 4 is titled Self-Compassion and Personal Growth. Self-compassion and personal growth. We're going to delve into that today. Now, before we move forward, let's do as we always do, which is to do a revision of the last lesson. So the last lesson was module 3, lesson 3, building a positive self-narrative. Hello, good evening. And we covered 3 specific objectives. We explained what self-narrative is, and we said that is the story that we tell ourselves about ourselves. We understand the importance of building a positive self-narrative, especially when times become very challenging. We want to have a positive self-story because it builds resilience. It builds resilience. And last week, we engaged in the positive self-story bingo, where we created a positive self-story. And we're continuing to create a positive self-story as we move from day to day. So today for module 4, which is all about self-compassion and growth, we're looking at lesson 1, understanding self-compassion. And for today's lesson, there are 3 objectives that we're focusing on. Number 1, understand the concept of self-compassion and its core components. Number 2, identify self-critical thoughts and learn how they impact personal growth and well-being. And number 3, apply simple self-compassion exercises. So let's start. What is self-compassion? So self-compassion is the practice. Notice the word practice. It's not something that we do one-off, but something that we have to cultivate every single day, every time life gets challenging, when we doubt ourselves, when we come upon roadblocks in our lives. So self-compassion is the practice of treating yourself with kindness, understanding, and acceptance, especially during periods of failure, challenges, or pain. So self-compassion is extremely important, not just when things are going well, but when things are definitely not going well. So moments of failure, moments of challenge, moments of shame, moments of pain, moments of rejection. self-compassion is going to be extremely important, and even moments of mistake and error in judgment. There are three main components of self-compassion. The first component is self-kindness, and this is offering yourself empathy and understanding rather than harsh criticism or judgment. I know sometimes we make mistakes and we go against our values and our standards. We go against our normal modus of operandi or modes of operation. And so self-compassion, one of its major tenets is self-kindness, empathizing with self rather than harshly criticizing. And we have to acknowledge at times that we do the best we can with what we have been given. And so as you become more mature and you realize like, oh, why did I make that decision? Why did I make that choice? Why did I go down that road? Now it's the time to really offer yourself kindness and empathy, saying, I did the best I can with the circumstances that I had. I made the best decision based on what I knew. And now I'm going to offer myself kindness and move forward, becoming the better version of me, the more mature version of me, and the version of you that stands up for yourself. Another moment or another kind of, or main components, I should say, of self-compassion is common humanity. Hello. It's common humanity. And this means that you're recognizing that everyone makes mistakes and experience struggles. And this is going to help you feel connected to others rather than isolating yourself in suffering. And this is so extremely, extremely critical. In life, when we go through certain situations and challenges, we beat down on ourselves because we believe that we're the first, the only, or the last, right? I call it the first, only, last syndrome. I'm the first person to ever go through this. Nobody has the experience. I'm the only person who's experiencing this. Nobody has this experience. I'm the last person to experience this. I'll never rise. But that is not true at all. Whatever experience, whatever challenges you're going through, there are others. Oh, many, many others. Many before you, many who are here with you, and many who will experience those challenges after we are all gone. And so for those who've already passed and they overcome, it means you can overcome, we can overcome. For those who are experiencing it now and are overcoming, that's a testimony that you can overcome as well. And so when we understand that it's common humanity and many people have experienced what we're experiencing, it gives us the resilience. And we can use things like positive self-talk. We can use things like affirmation, taking a pause, strategizing, and move forward, because we too shall overcome and pass this stage. And then the third main component of self-compassion is mindfulness, that we tend not to do very much, some of us, but mindfulness is being present with your emotions without suppressing or exaggerating them. And this is going to allow you to observe your feelings with balance and clarity. Sometimes we may have the tendency to run away from how we feel. But to sit in that and to acknowledge that can be so powerful. And for many of us who were not taught to process our emotions as children, it becomes really harder in adulthood. But it doesn't mean that it cannot be done. To sit in the emotion and to say, this is how I feel, this is why I feel the way I feel, and not allow our emotions to overwhelm us. And even if our emotions overwhelm us and we have bad day or bad days, that's when self-compassion comes in. Okay, so let's talk about some of the benefits of self-compassion. It's going to foster resilience, allowing you to recognize that you can push past the pain, you can push past the disappointment, you can push past whatever unfavorable circumstances you're experiencing in life. It's going to foster personal growth. It's going to reduce self-criticism, because self-criticism can come as a direct result of the absence of self-compassion when we're really hard on ourselves. It enhances motivation. It also encourages a healthier, more constructive inner dialogue. And remember, your inner dialogue is your self-talk. And we looked at that a few lessons ago. So if you're joining us for the first time, or if it's the first time you're hearing about inner dialogue, or you just want a reminder, we do have a lesson on self-talk. I think we did it about maybe 2 weeks ago. Yeah. So feel free to access that recording. It's module 3, lesson 2. Yes. Module 3, lesson 2, I believe. You can review that about inner dialogue, some of the ways you can identify negative inner dialogue. We also differentiated among positive, neutral, and negative inner dialogue. Now, what are some techniques that you can use, I can use, we can use to foster self-compassion? One is taking a self-compassion break. So when you're feeling stressed or self-critical, we can pause and acknowledge our feelings. So just taking a break to say, this is how I feel, this is why I'm feeling it, and how am I going to move forward? And even before we get into solution mode and talk about, oh, how am I going to move forward? Just to take the time to feel those emotions can be very, very helpful. So they flood over us, but they do not overtake or control us. Another technique is to reframe your self-critical thoughts. And we looked at some strategies for this when we looked at self-talk, especially negative self-talk. So notice when self-critical thoughts arise, and we identified some of them, you want to write down the critical thought, then rewrite it in a kinder, more supportive way. I messed up, I'm so stupid. You could reframe that to say, I did not make the best choice, but I have control over my future. I have control over where I go next. I cannot change the past, but I can definitely determine what version of the future I will meet. So that's being kinder to yourself, being more supportive, reframing the self-critical thought. The next is a supportive touch, and I believe we underestimate this, but I've been doing this a lot more since recently, and it's using physical gestures like placing a hand on your heart, right? Or my heart is below, but placing a hand on your heart or giving yourself a hug can help activate feelings of warmth and feelings of comfort. So what this technique does is that it grounds you and reminds you that you're worthy of care. Even if others are not giving you that care, it is a reminder that I'm being self-compassionate and I am worthy of care, and I'm going to hug myself. Sometimes you will even have to hug yourself and remind yourself that it will be okay. I will pass through the storm and I will get over on the other side. We also have mindful self-acceptance. So this is the practice of observing your emotions, but doing it without judgment. So you notice your feelings, right? And you allow them to be as they are. And you remind yourself that it's okay to feel this way. And this is going to help you respond to emotions with compassion rather than self-criticism. So some people may say, oh, I don't know why I got angry, or I shouldn't have gotten angry. Why not just sit with it and acknowledge that you are angry? Don't blame somebody else for your anger. Don't blame somebody else, but own your feelings. And we're going to own our feelings. I feel disappointed. And just taking the time to sit with that, it can unearth so much about us. We learn so much more about ourselves from just sitting with how we feel, not blaming others for our actions. Another thing, for those of you who like to write, this one can be really useful. Write a self-compassionate letter. So when facing a challenge, you can write a letter to yourself. You are going to offer yourself understanding. You're going to offer yourself encouragement. You're going to offer yourself compassion as you would to a close friend. Many times we're compassionate to others, but we're not compassionate to ourselves. And what you can do is that you can revisit the letter when you need a reminder of your strengths and your resilience. Because as I said, self-compassion, it's needed all the time, but it's mostly needed when you are down in a rut, when you're experiencing the real challenges of life. And so writing that letter to yourself or recording yourself and speaking into your spirit, into your soul, into your being. And then when times get really low, you can revisit that and say, this is me. I'm reminding myself of who I am. All right, so we do have in the self-growth worksheet, and again, I'm going to put the link in the chat. For those of you want to go ahead and you want to purchase this so that you can go through your self-awareness journey. So the self-growth worksheet is a compilation. Let me come on screen. So the self-growth worksheet is a compilation of 20 something activities that take you through that, compilation of several different activities that takes you through the different aspects of self-awareness. So all that we have discussed today, there are activities that can help you reinforce what we have discussed in our self-awareness transformation journey. And you can even do that one-on-one, share it with a friend. So the link is in the chat. And there's a QR code as well to the top of the screen. So feel free to scan the QR code and you can purchase that. So what I would love for you to do is to practice self-compassion when you're tempted to be self-critical by completing the activity. And I'm going to put the activity on screen. All right. So it says, practice self-compassion when you are tempted to be self-critical by completing the activity. So in the first column from my left, it says, identify the inner critic. Write down, hopefully I can see it well, write down the recent self-critical thought. Whatever self-critical thought you have, you write that down. And then for the second column, you're going to reframe with kindness. So replace the critical thought with a kind response. And I gave you an example earlier. Then after that, you're going to do your humanity check. Because remember, there are 3 components of self. Let me use this instead. I think that may be better. No, it's smaller. All right. So there are 3 components of self-compassion, right? So again, the first column, you're identifying the inner critic, that critical, self-critical thought. Then we're going to go through the 3 components of self-compassion. So the first is to reframe with kindness, be gentle with yourself, reframe that statement. Then you're going to do a reality check. Write 1 sentence about how others may have had a similar struggle. And even if you do not know personally of someone who's had the struggle, it's okay. It's all right. I can assure you that there is at least 1 person who has had the same struggle that you're having. And then the final part of this is your mindfulness moment. So you're going to pause, take a deep breath, and note how this self-compassion exercise makes you feel. It may not work immediately. You may need some more time, but that's okay. At least you're being mindful and observing what is happening in the present moment. And if the strategy that I've shared with you allows you to feel better or encourages you, that's great. Either way, mindfulness is not about getting it right or getting it wrong. It's about staying in the moment. All right. Okay, let's move forward. We're going to wrap things up this evening. Remember, as we wrap up, that being kind to oneself is not about lowering your standards, but supporting long-term growth and well-being. You are preserving yourself today so you can be available to yourself and others tomorrow. And you want to repeat this personal affirmation. I'm learning to be kinder to myself. Mistakes are a part of growth. You may want to jot that down or create a derivative of it. So I'm learning to be kinder to myself. Mistakes are a part of growth. Mistakes do not mean that you're a failure. It's a part of growth. So let's check in. Are you able to understand the concept of self-compassion and its core components, the 3 core components, which are self-kindness, common humanity, and mindfulness? All right. Number 2, are you able to identify self-critical thoughts and learn how they impact personal growth and well-being? And this is a connection to the self-talk lesson that we did about 2 weeks ago. And then finally, apply simple self-compassion exercises. I shared a number of them with you. I would say take 1 or 2 and practice those when you come upon challenging times so you can speak and minister and encourage yourself. All right. So this evening we are having a short lesson. I was actually going to cancel the session, but I said, you know what? No, I am not going to cancel. I'm going to push through and apply self-compassion. Right? So it's better to show up. I always say done is better than perfect. And this is also self-compassion. Even if you're not feeling up to it, if challenges are just at you, you still show up the best way you can, and that will give you consistency. And as you push through the resistance, you are actually improving and you're growing. It may not feel like it, but I promise you, it's doing something to the brain. All right. You can read up more about neuroplasticity and how you're really charting a new path, even amongst the challenges. And after a while, the resistance will lessen and the path will be seamless. Remember to stay connected. You can follow us on our social media platforms. If you have not yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, I'm going to encourage you to subscribe and become a member of the Eurique family, where we thrive through transformation. It's all about self-development, personal development, learning skills and strategies, and forming a community where we can grow together, where we can thrive together, and where we can become more self-aware. So thank you everyone for joining. For those who are late, we're done. But feel free to watch the recording. It will be available on Facebook and YouTube. Have a wonderful evening, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. Thanks for joining again.